Nice. Who has the bow? So what was the most surprising thing that you experienced in these last two exercises about your project or about somebody else's?
The vision statement is very similar.
They're very similar, yes.
Yes, I agree, Steve. You're right on there.
So what do you think, what does that say to you?
So, should it be one and the same?
Well, was your vision statement, was your mission statement speaking to a bigger thing?
No. But it basically took the same words and the vision statement and just kind of elaborated on it.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what it's supposed to do?
Well, it's supposed to help you imagine where you're trying to go in an inspirational way, and also for your audience, inspire them about the bigger picture of what you're trying to accomplish with what you're doing. So they are similar for sure,
Yeah.
and they're not required, but they help you think about getting really specific about what you do
And what you're trying to accomplish.
and what you're trying to do in the long term, as opposed to what you're trying to do every day. You know, there's the work that we do every day, and then there's the big vision that you have about what you're doing. So that's where those can use some refinement. Maybe just think about those going forward, because they shouldn't be that similar. They should, of course, be related because they're about your business. But one should really be pushing the envelope for you, that's making you strive to do something differently, that you're trying to accomplish something. And it could be as simple as, I want to sell 1 million of these,
Yeah.
but I want to sell 1 million of those shouldn't be in your mission statement. It should be in your vision statement.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Does
all
that
about
make
the-
sense?
All about the Benjamins, a bad idea.
I'm sorry?
All about the Benjamins is a bad idea.
I think so, but not everybody feels that way.
It was not part of mine, I was just joking.
That's your vision, to bathe in $100 bills?
It's all about,
I love
it's all about the Benjamins.
All right, so we are going to do a little preview of what next week is all about, and we're going to talk about what you all are going to work on over the next 2 weeks. So we're going to start digging in now. You've started with a mission, you've got a vision, at least the beginnings of one, and now we want you to get a little bit more specific about what the heck it is that you are actually making. So what is it in actual detail? Describe what it is that you're making. This is not the mission. This is literally what your product is about, what your day is about, what it takes to make what it is that you're making, and the features and benefits of what you're making. So this is, you know, some of what you're ending up doing is leading towards your business plan. But think about what it is that you're making and how it benefits others. So remember this talk about human-centered design. What is it that you're designing, and how does it benefit the people that you're hoping to sell your stuff to? So this is where you're starting to imagine thinking what people want to do with your stuff. So features are the specific things that make up your product. You use a specific kind of clay and glaze. Those are the features. The benefits are that your home is more beautiful with this piece of pottery in it. So there are features. They're the description of what your product is about in lay terms. They're the simple language. The benefits is sort of like the marketing story for your customer. Why the customer finds benefit from the features that you've provided. So I'm hoping this link might still work. It didn't occur to me that I should check that.
Nope.
Oh, I don't have the internet hooked up. But so go to any car dealership, you know, big national brand, and they'll have these two categories. They'll have features and they'll have benefits. So it's what you make has a specific way of being described that is very technical. It's 2 feet by 4 feet. It's made out of cherry, and it has 4 rungs on it. But the benefits are when you sit on that bench, you feel like $1 million and your feet are relaxed and it is a brilliant moment for your day. That was pretty bad, but you get the idea, I'm hoping. So this is part of what you're going to be doing for your homework, is to be thinking about what it is that you're making and finding out whether people actually relate to what it is that you're doing. So I'm going to show you like 5 minutes of this guide. You're going to watch this later on your own if you want to. But remember that when you're talking about your products, you're trying to hit your mission, hit your vision. You want them to know what the heck it is that you're making, and you want them to know why you're making it. And all of that is tied up in the language that you use to describe what it is that you're making. So this is part of a video that we're going to watch. So go into your book and look on page 21. You're going to revise your mission statement, your vision statement. You're going to describe what it is that your project is starting to come into. You're going to list the features and list the benefits. And then on page 22, you're going to do an actual experiment. You are going to get feedback from 10 people. You can choose how you want to do that. You can do that in person. You can do that in a survey. You can have a focus group. You can have a party. These can be your friends. They can be your family. You can count that 10 however you want. You can choose not to do the 10 and not do the experiment, but you won't learn anything if you don't. So here's SurveyMonkey is free. That is a way to get feedback without having to talk to anybody. You can craft your little experiment very easily. You must have 10 people's email addresses. I feel confident you do. That is certainly a way to get some feedback. But what you want to ask them about is you want to ask them about your mission and your vision and the features and the benefits that you have. You want to ask them some specific questions. Would you buy this? How much would you pay for this? What would you expect to pay for this? You want to get some information about what you're starting to craft from 10 different people. So you want to get some feedback. Doesn't have to be good or bad feedback, it's just information. It's not like anybody's, going to say no. Well, they might say no, but you want to know why they say no. You want to know what they think about your idea to make boxes of broom kits. You want to get 10 people to give you feedback on that idea now that you're starting to dig into what that means. And that is the big bulk of your homework. There are some other things that you want to do. You want to think about what you want to learn when you make those questions. So think about your survey, or think about, if you're going to actually talk to people in person, have crafted questions just like you would with a survey. Otherwise you won't get very meaningful information. But find out what people think about your ideas. Total bonus points to all of you if you aren't talking to friends and family. But no one's counting, and it's up to you. You do what you have time for, what is going to be meaningful for you, and I guarantee you that all of this will be meaningful, because it's the only way we get information is to ask the questions. And you can do it in whatever way is comfortable for you. So that is the bulk of your homework piece. There is some self-reflection work for you to do on your own on page 24, and on 25 you've got a list of all the things that you were going to work on in order to do that. And I'm going to pass these around, which are little evaluations that don't require your names, but do require you to think about how tonight was, what your experience was, so that we can make sure that the program that we present is useful and helpful. Now, do any of you have any questions about homework or next steps? We're going to be talking about all of the venture descriptions in much more detail. So we know you're not going to get it right for this little survey / interview question that you're going to have, but you got to get started on it because we're moving fast.
Sorry, Chris.
Pizza.
What?
I got a question.
Yes.
So when it says solicit feedback about your creative adventure.
Mm-hmm.
That means the actual thing we mentioned in the beginning.
Whatever it is that you are thinking that you think is gonna become a product or a service, so what you mentioned, talking about of a weaving project,
But
yeah.
you would mention your mission, you would mention your vision, and you would mention the product. You would probably ask them for a price point, not give them a price point.
However you wanna do it.
Okay.
Either way is fine, because this is your information, so what's gonna be meaningful to you? But what you wanna find is, do they want it? Do they value it? Do they get an idea from what your mission and vision and your product description, your venture description is about? Do they get what it is? And what do they think of it? Some of the best ideas come from people that don't like what we present, that send us off on a tangent that is brilliant. So this is your first chance to do that.